another episode of Ride and Chat. I have a chief with me. He's a king of tourism, right? Okay, so as usual, I don't do plenty introduction. I'll leave the floor to the king to do his talking. Please, you have the floor. You can talk.
Wow. Oh, my name is Kofi Kukudurfo I, Nserahwehen, Iture. So that's Kofi Kukudurfo, the first tourism chief of Iture and Elmina. Weird experiences. That was a weird experience. I came in to be enstooled as chief of tourism of Iture, and thank you to Omahhen and the traditional Edina council. I'm now the tourism chief of Elmina, which is, an amazing experience. Along those lines, when I was first given the title, I said, "You made that up." and people got mad at me. And then it was like, wait, they did make that up. And now I'm the first. I'm Mexican, I'm the first. I'm the first tourism chief in Iture, the first tourism chief in Elmina, first tourism chief in Central Region, and we believe the first in Ghana, and then over time we'll find out if anyone's actually documented in the entire continent. My American name is Rashad McCrorey, and I'm a tour operator. I organize trips to Egypt, Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, Rwanda, and Uganda. I've been visiting Ghana since 2015. I started my tourism company in 2017. Actually, I started working on my tourism company in 2016, and I organized my first trip to Ghana and later on Egypt in 2017. So after I thought about it, I said, wow, this stool, it actually fits you. If you go down my Instagram page, you'll see that I've been promoting trips to Africa, specifically Ghana, since 2014. And to now be in this situation where I actually see that it's going to catch on fast. I promise you, in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, there's going to be tourism chiefs popping up everywhere. I've been blessed to be a trendsetter. I've been in Forbes magazine, CNN, ABC News, CBS News, in Ghana. I've been in TMGH Live, obviously, GH1, City TV, TV3, Ria Film, Joy Online, Joy News, Joy Prime. They all was here today, and I was already on all those stations. So when I've been bestowed with these responsibilities, it's actually something that I feel that with my support system of my Iture family, the Iture community, the Elmina community, my brothers and sisters back home in the United States, my elders, my nanas, like my Nserahwehen is right here next to me. It's a burden that I'm willing to take on, I have decided to take on, and I really do believe that I have the support system to help me. I have two of my helpers right here who traveled all the way from Accra, always wind up playing big roles. As much as I try to say, I can do it on my own, they just pop up and come out infinitely helpful. And I say that's a weird experience because it's spiritual. None of it is planned. For those who don't know my original story on how I got to Ghana to live in Ghana, I just happened to be in Ghana for 6 March Independence Day festivities with 4 Americans on a business trip. When the president at the time, Donald Trump, said, all Americans abroad, come home now or stay abroad indefinitely, I decided to stay in Ghana. I had no plans. I called, one of my best friends in Ghana during that time, Alex. He gave me confidence to stay. I prayed to my father. I called my mom, who's usually overprotective, and even she was like, yeah, I think you should stay in Ghana. That's always a surprise. And I bring up Alex again because he's part of the royal family of Iture. I lived inside Aburi Botanical Gardens. That's a weird experience. When you go to Aburi Botanical Gardens and you actually go inside, imagine living inside of Aburi Botanical Gardens for 3 months. I think when I first met TMGH Live, I think I was living in Aburi Botanical Gardens. So those are, some of the weird experiences. It crosses over into success. But what I would say is one of my best successful experiences is actually finding a family. Finding people that I relate to, people that I trust, because I say it all the time, I have trust issues. I don't trust people easily. But to be around people who've actually gained my trust and gained my respect, that goes a long way. And finding a family when you're abroad. One of Alex told me a story last night, and McQuick told me a story last night when they came up with the name Kofi Kukudurfo I. I always thought was, when they say what kind of name do you want, I said, oh no, just make sure it's a strong name. So I think that's where they got Kofi Kukudurfo from. But they shared with me that they thought about it. I come from the United States. It's a world crisis going on, and I decided to live in a third world country. A third world country, which, you know, that's brave, that's strong. Let's call them Kofi Kukudurfo. So to be with people who that I trust, that I feel a part of a family, that I have mentors, and then I also mentee people, and that I'm comfortable being around even through times of adversity. That's a successful life.
So when you first decided to move to Ghana, what was the whole picture was like when you first decided to move to Ghana? Were you having it in your mind that you probably have to achieve something before you leave the country, or you have to stay here permanently?
Well, before I left my apartment in America, something told me leading up. I'll say 6 months prior, I said I wanted to move. In my previous trip to Ghana, I said I want to move to Africa. I didn't know what country it was going to be. I didn't know. I was looking at Kenya, Rwanda, Senegal, and Ghana. And those are the 4 countries that I was looking at. But then I just knew I wanted to move out my apartment. So I threw out my couch. I started cleaning out my closets. You know, even when my family members went to my house, they was like, were you moving? And I was like, no, I wasn't moving. But it was amazing because before I walked outside the house, I looked back and I said, when you come back, you're gonna achieve something great. I didn't know if I was going for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I just bought a one-way ticket. Again, it was late February. I knew I wanted to go to Accra Fashion Week, which was the first week of April that year in 2020. I knew I wanted to go to the Kwawu Festival. So I just really didn't know when I wanted to come back. And as time started going on, I said, hey, I'm prepared for this. I read a great book called Opportunity, and I started to learn how to take advantage of great opportunities. I read a wonderful book on public relations. I read a wonderful book on public relations, and then I started working on my media presentation in 2019. The story behind that was, again, I've been promoting people going back to Africa since 2014. I've been doing a tourism company since 2017, but when the year of return happened, everybody had a tourism company. Whether it was Ghanaians on the ground, whether it was Americans abroad, people who never cared about going back to Africa, all of a sudden they want to help people to find their roots. I said, what's going to separate me? And I said, I have to make myself known. Rashad McCrorey. I have to start working on branding. So I stopped using the name African Cross Culture. I changed all my social media handles to just Rashad McCrorey, and I started branding myself. So when I was here, I said, here's an opportunity. I saw an opportunity. I was hearing about 70-80% of Black Americans on the continent of Africa going home during coronavirus. But here I am, I chose to stay. And I figured out, hey, tourism is on hold. I have decent savings, but I don't know how long it's going to be before I make money again through tourism. How am I going to survive? And then that's when I started saying, let me brand myself, let me figure out a way to survive, because I'm a survivor. When crises happen, I'm always the calm one. I always stay quick on my toes. I know whether I need to leave quickly or I need to stay in a sensitive situation. And even though I did have some nervousness, I felt really good about my chances, and I met my family, I met my friends.
When we first, sometimes when you hear leaders that are put in certain position to fulfill certain roles, citizens or the indigents criticize them within a few years that they are not doing what they are supposed to do. Can you give us a lay down plan for some of the things you wish to do for the people of Elmina as a chief of tourism?
We have short-term goals, medium terms, and long-term goals. You know, being in Iture is the gateway to Elmina. When you talk about the slave judges, when you talk about the door no return, and you talk about Elmina town where the palace is, coming from Accra, you have to go through Iture. There's no way around it. Unless you go way out the way. You go through Eastern region, come through Kumasi, and come back down. You have to cut through Iture. So people need to know where Iture is, where the three rivers meet. When you cross that bridge and you come into Elmina, you're in Iture. And by me being placed in a position of leadership at the forefront, at the front gate, it's very important that Iture be taken care of first. Whether it's signs to let people know that they're in Iture, infrastructure, additional money coming to our hotels, our anything that help the people of Iture make more money, help the businesses grow, and then once it spills over into Elmina, because Iture is only 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer, and that's being friendly. And with all the garnerships that I'll be getting from the United States, I would hope that over the weeks, months, and years, the impact of Iture and Elmina be seen immediately.
When I posted your video today doing the installment, someone commented that he is happy that a lot of the Black Americans are coming back to Africa to take what rightfully belongs to them. Do you feel the same?
Yes, Elmina, Cape Coast, Black Americans always gravitate to these areas because these are the homes of the door no return. These are our last footsteps of our ancestors when they left the continent to go off into the Americas. So when we go to these places in this area, the spirits are calling us. We feel a sense of home, we feel a sense of belonging because this was the last time many of us were home in the spiritual realm. Even if you start talking about, living lifetimes over again and our ancestors speaking to us. A lot of our ancestors decided to jump ship and died in these waters. And when you have things like water just recycles itself. Water is in the ocean. It comes up in evaporation, it stays in the clouds, and then it comes back down in rain. So these are the same waters that we sailed off on, and some of us jumped ship on because they were strong enough not to go and be slaves, and some of us were strong enough to endure. So when we come into these areas, when we come into Iture, we come into Elmina, a lot of us remember. We start having visions, we start having dreams, we start having flashbacks that we don't know where they come from, or we just get a sense of just being comfortable, and a lot of us stay here.
With a year of return, you personally into other diasporas, what role did the year of return play in your life? Coming back or staying in Ghana or deciding to leave? What year did the year of return play in your life?
Well, the year of return, that was a spiritual moment. A lot of people think that time is just linear, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. But time is also cyclical. It goes into cycles. So when you get the year of return, the 400-year anniversary of Jamestown 1619, it's also the 100-year anniversary of the Great Migration, when Black Americans moved from the South up to the North after slavery had ended. So the Great Migration started in 1916 and went through to 1970, where hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Black Americans moved from the southern states to the northern states, whether it was New York, Chicago, out west to Los Angeles. So it's not just a marketing ploy that somebody came up with, hey, let's do the year return, and no, it's divine timing. It's divine timing. It's divine timing that, in a time where many people stop traveling, people are going viral, still traveling and being home, and keeping the momentum and, keeping from the bottom from totally falling out, as if this year return never happened. A lot of people who put their trips on hold from 2018, 2019, they're starting to return. The group of 51 that just left, some of them booked this trip in 2019. So they're recycling, making up for lost time, and now the time for tourism to gradually come back is now. It already started gradually coming back, but now is the time where you see things going to continue to progress and move on.
In order to promote tourism across the country, would you say other towns should take the step the people of Iture have taken to, install chief of tourism in order to promote tourism across the country?
I would say towns should first really embrace their history and their tradition and find a reason why their town is special. Iture know why Iture is special. And since Iture know why Iture is special, then they were able to convey that idea, or not even convey that truth, to someone like me who buys into it. Someone like Nserahwehen who buys into it. Other Black Americans who buy into it. And by knowing your history, your culture, your tradition, and not always looking, respectfully, not always looking to see what the West is doing, what the Northern Hemisphere is doing, and embracing African cultures, tradition, and cultures, then that is what gravitates Black American and travelers. Black Americans and travelers who are looking to live in Ghana, looking to repatriate or move here, expat here, they're looking to get away from America, not come someplace and it's like little America. No. So I would say that, yes, I do believe that many other towns and many other places will put in Ministry of Tourism, especially places that have huge tourist attractions or even minor tourist attractions. I do see that as a trend. So it is an honor from as far as we know, this is the first tourism chief. We have a border tourism, we have the Honor Return Committee. We have people who've done great things as far as events such as Afrochella or Panafest. But I'm the first tourism chief that's taking a town, that's taking a region, and that's really going to focus on tourism. And I want to add something that I did say at Omahend Palace. Tourism isn't just taking people from place to place to place and having a good time. Tourism is more than that. Tourism is planning, strategic thinking, marketing, branding, safety, security, networking. So tourism has a broad umbrella. Tourism has a broad umbrella and skills that any town can actually leverage to be a more efficient town, a more financially productive town, and also just to build cultural history.
So before we finally draw the curtains down, the moment you were told you were going to be installed as tourism chief, what went through your mind at that very particular moment?
I said, what is Nserahwehen? That's the first thing I said. They made it up. I was like, I made that up. And they did make it up. But it fit perfectly. Yeah. Yeah, and it was already, when I really sat down and thought about it, I was like, hey, I could really take this stool and run with it. And it's already started. I don't even know. I said, amen. I say I received it. Midget. Whatever. So. Yeah. I embrace it. I love it. I love it because I always said to people, I could talk. I have so many different stories, but I always tell people that if the universe said, Rashad, you can do anything you want with your life. You don't have to worry about money. You don't have to worry about anything. I would have said I would travel across Africa, just meet different people and traditions and cultures and just embrace everything. And that's what I'm doing with my life. And even in my chieftaincy and my position, I will continue to get to do that. Because that also means when I travel to other countries, I can still do tourism. I can still promote tourism. It's not just Black Americans that I can really come into Ghana. It's when I go out to Kenya, when I go out to Egypt, everything bounce around. Everything is an ecosystem. Everything is cyclical. So I'm really excited about the opportunity. I really feel that I have the support system, especially from the royal family of Iture, the Iture community. The Omahend and Elmina really gave me a great vote of confidence to know that I have the entire town behind me, the region behind me, and I'm really excited about what the future holds.
So what's your final word? What's the way forward for tourism? The final word on tourism and other things that you want to touch on?
Continue to move forward. I know a lot of people may have given up on their dreams. A lot of people are unsure about what to do with the tourism. Whatever is your heart's true desire. Like I said before, if the universe said, Rashad, what would you want to do with your life? If you feel like tourism, marketing, branding, human relations, public relations, there's so many ways to make money through tourism. You can make money being a seamstress during tourism. You can sell items, you can sell rings, you can sell beads. There's so many different ways that you can monetize the tourism coming in. You don't have to be a tourism company. You don't have to be a tour operator. You don't have to be a tour guide. You can work in hospitality, hotel management, restaurants. There's so many components to tourism that you just have to find what your passion is and see how it relates to tourism.
Thank you guys. This has been another episode of Riding Time. My name is Dr. Sal, and I've been speaking to Chief of Tourism in Iture.
Iture.